Welcome to the Current Electric High School Basketball Girls State Championship Preview Show presented by Cannon and Dunphy. I'm Mike McGivern. Thanks for joining us. We are an hour away from tip-off for day 2 of the Girls Basketball State Championship games. I'm joined, and my co-host, Mike Sidolowski from St. Francis High School. Coach, some great games on the schedule today.
Oh, it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a great day.
Hey, we're going to start with Division 5, and we're going to break that down. 9 o'clock is tip-off in Division 5 as the number 1 ranked Assumption takes on the number 4 ranked team Owen-Withee. Number 1 ranked team Assumption Royals are 27-1 overall, went undefeated in the Marwood South Conference. They are coached by Ryan Klein. This is a really good basketball team. In fact, Coach, they have 3,000-point scorers on their team, which as long as I coached, I don't know if I ever had 3 of those. And in Division 5 girls basketball, this is a really quality basketball team.
It's another good traditional program. Eighth trip to state, gold in 21, silver 22. For them, it all starts with Jaglinski, 48% from 3. She's a D2 commit already to Augustana. Talk about a kid that just puts in the time, gets in the gym, and obviously spends a lot of time on her shot. I've coached against her in AAU, and you leave her open, you might as well count it.
Yeah. You know, with those 3,000-point scorers, when we talked with Ryan, their coach, he talked about these 3 and what they've meant to this program.
I mean, it's really tough because we have 3,000-point scorers, and then another one that's really close to 1,000 that sacrificed a lot. So Jordan Jaglinski is our leading scorer as a junior. She's a shooter. Anna Schooley's our big. She's super athletic. Sarah Shaw is another. She creates a lot of her offense off of her defense. She's one of the most elite defensive players you'll see. And then Addie Ballard, she can do it all. I mean, she's our senior leader, point guard. And then Claire Nelson she's a role player for us, but it's an important thing to have when you got to share the wealth with basketball so much. She's our kind of the rock on our defense, big communicator. And then Lede Sanz de Rosas. It's kind of pronounced Larry with a D, Lede. It'll be a fun one for you to work with. She's got a lot of energy, and you'll see when she plays. She had an older sister that played a few years back. She's from Spain, and she's got some good basketball skills there that are fun to watch too on the offensive end.
You know, Coach, I like it when Ryan talked about role players. He could just talk about those 1,000-point scorers, but then he talked about other kids and how they have to kind of give up some of their game to be able to play on this team because they don't need a lot more scores. They need other kids that can defend and rebound. And the fact that he brought that up means a lot, I think.
Yeah, obviously, that's the reason they win. When you got kids that are willing to sacrifice and realize to get the ball to the kids who are more skilled at scoring the basketball.
Yeah, I agree with that. Assumption takes on the Hawks from Owen-Withee. Owen-Withee, 25-2 overall, took second place in the Clover Belt East Conference, and they are coached by Josh Jolin. And I want to talk a little bit about this team. He talked a lot about the 2 kids that make this team go. But, I did some research on Owen-Withee, and I think Josh does a really good job with this team. And again, when we talked about role players, she's got a number of players, goes 8 or 9 deep on that team, and I think they get after it pretty hard on the defensive end.
They had to give up an average 32.3 points a game. So obviously that you're holding your opponents down. Another tradition-rich program, 10th trip. I believe we'll get to Coach Myers from Barneville later, just past the previous all-time wins on the girls' side of Al Guthman, who was at Owen-Withee for a long time. Many trips to state with Owen-Withee before.
Yeah, and this overall team is awfully good at Owen-Withee. And Josh Jolin talked a little bit about the overview on this year's team.
We got 4 seniors. 3 of them are playing on varsity. The 3 that are playing have been starting since they were a freshman. And then we got a couple of juniors that are starting for our team, and they've also been starting since they were freshmen. So I pretty much had the same starting lineup the last couple of years. Last year we made it to sectional final, only lost one senior. So brought back everyone from a sectional final team last year. So we had a ton of experience coming back. And I think that obviously is what allowed us to be successful again this year.
You know, when you listen to Josh talk about this team, and you hope the progression as a coach, you get to a sectional final and you're only losing one player. Your hope is that these kids understand how hard it is to get to state, put the work in the weight room, and certainly in the gym, and this team has done that.
Yeah, obviously, as we talked about earlier, learning from losing and then having that motivation to get to that next step.
Yeah, I agree with that. And to be able to see that happen, you know, you start getting nervous a little bit at the beginning of the year. You've got everybody's expecting this, but when the team gets past and through that sectional final, you feel like you can take a breath, but you got to get ready for that next week. And I know that Josh has done that with his team. Hey, let's get to a break. Other side, we'll break down the second Division 5 matchup. This is the Current Electric High School Girls Basketball State Championship Preview Show presented by Cannon and Dunphy only on My 24.